Welcome to the You Want Game podcast. I'm your host, Sean Dorcelis. I'm a senior at Syracuse University studying broadcasting and digital journalism, former student athlete myself. The You Want Game was founded by Joe Branch and Bill Babora. You Want Game is a nonprofit organization that has helped many high school student athletes reach their potential in academics and athletics, as well as personal growth through life skills and career development. Through mentoring, workshops, and events, You Want Game brings professionals from various backgrounds to speak with high school student athletes and to give them a look at the game behind the game. Please visit youwantgame.org for more information on the organization. Today on the You Want Game podcast, we are delighted to have Rob Lyons of Big Brothers Big Sisters Twin Cities. Rob is a former collegiate and professional football player who is now enjoying a career shaping young lives through mentoring as the Youth Opportunity Unit Director for Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Rob, good morning. I know you got your coffee. We're getting ready to get rolling here.
Got it right here, bro. Coffee's gonna be a theme for me today.
Okay, yes. I think I know what you're hitting at there. So let's get right into it, Rob. I want to start. I know I had that little background condensed version, but I want to start by giving you a chance to share some more information on yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? Who is Rob Lyons?
Okay. Well, I'm from a little town in Ohio called St. Clairsville, Ohio. I currently live here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been here since 1990. I work at Big Brothers Big Sisters as their Youth Opportunity Unit Director, which is basically I've been put in a position where I get to create some opportunities for kids here in the Twin Cities. And that will be the second theme that you'll hear today. Aside from coffee, you're going to hear about opportunity and relationship. Those three things will be a common theme throughout this time with you today. Who I am is I'm a married man. I've been married for 16 years to my wife Denise. I have six children, from 32 being the oldest to 20 being the youngest, and I have six grandkids. So I've been a busy family man, but that's part of who I am and what my purpose is here on this earth is just to be a family man and share my light.
Awesome. Thank you. So you got some big brothers and big sisters in your own family then.
Yeah, I am the big brother of my family. I have two younger brothers, but I am the big brother to those two guys.
Gotcha. How fitting is that? So, Rob, I want to ask you. I gave in that intro there that you have a background in athletics as a football player, at the college level and at the NFL level. How has your experience as an athlete shaped who you are as a man today?
Yep, athletics plays such a huge role when it comes to shaping young people's minds. I grew up a kid who had kind of like a low self-esteem, and if I was left to my individual devices, I don't know what path I would have been on. But when I got into sports and started learning to and being around other guys and seeing where my value fit as a group, and then you pair that up with positive, caring adults who were willing to help you find who you are, that was invaluable, man. Sports played such a huge role in helping to shape me and understand who I was, where my strengths were, where my where my areas of improvement needed to be. So I was very thankful to have that opportunity to be around others who were on the same path. That was huge for me.
So, to go off of that question, what do you think are the biggest lessons to be learned about being an athlete for today's youth? I mean, you touched upon what you gained from that and how that's helped to shape you, but for today's youth in today's youth sports, what are the biggest lessons to be learned?
Yep. Being involved in sports starts with understanding a couple things. One, relationships. When you're on a team, it's not just about you. You know, we all hear the phrase, there's no I in team. Well, there is actually an I. There's a me actually in the word team. There's me. And taking care of yourself, making sure you are the best that you can be is is a first priority. The second priority is making sure that your brother next to you got their back. As a team, you got to have their back, right? So you got to support each other and empower each other, because think of a high performance sports car's engine. There's parts in that engine, individual parts, but it takes that whole to make that engine just purr and run at its top level. That's what it is to be part of a team as well. So learning how to focus on your being the best that you can be, but also having those relationships where you can help your teammate, you can help your brother, you got his back and help him be the best that he can be. That carries over from sports into regular life. When you're on the job, out in the workforce, it's not just there's other people that are around you that support you, and then the same thing, you have to do that for others as well.
Absolutely. So we just touched upon, some of the values and morals that, I mean, a lot of, a lot of times when you're young, you're not realizing that you're gaining that sort of intuition from playing the game. I want to talk about your time in the NFL. Now, how did that change or enhance your perception of sports, perhaps as seeing it more of a business than you might have previously thought of it as?
Yeah, there's one thing that was really intriguing with You Want Game, their tagline of the game behind the game. It's more than just playing the sports. There are so many other values that come into play that help you, one, play, but also prepare you for life. It's understanding that your image, your personal brand, who you are as a person, how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself, plays a role in how you can live your best life. Understanding that there's beyond sports. If I just went to college and said, I'm going to be a pro athlete, and if that didn't happen, what did I do to prepare myself for the rest of my life? So making sure that I was getting the best education and taking advantage of that education, making sure I was building relationships and that social capital that I could learn from, who could help continue to teach me and bring me up, was very, very important. Understanding how what I say on and off the field can make a huge difference in how I create opportunities for myself and how I'm perceived. Social media is huge these days, and how kids utilize the things, that their images that they put up and the things that they say in their social media helps to start building their brand and how people perceive them. So it's more than just getting on the field and what you do on the field. It's also what you're doing off the field, giving back to your community. How engaged are you in your community? Each of us has a value and is an asset to where we live, but are you utilizing that? Those are things that sports taught me, especially in the NFL. Having the players above me, the veterans above me, like Felix Wright. When I played for the Browns, Felix Wright was the free safety in 1989 who was my mentor, and he was very willing to share. It's kind of unheard of a lot of times, where someone who's in the starting position is going to be open and transparent with you and share his knowledge. Because a lot of guys, they fear that, hey, this young buck's going to come up and take my spot. But Felix was very open and shared all the tips and tricks of the trade. So he was a good mentor and a good role model to me that says, you know what, if you're trying to be a light to someone else coming up behind you, you got to be open, honest, and transparent, and let the chips fall, man. Let's compete and let the chips fall. So I treasured that in him, and I'm trying to emulate that in the things that I do.
That's a special thing. And you, as a former player of the Browns, I'm going to congratulate you for your former org making the playoffs. It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, man, it's about time. I ride or die with them, and this is our year where we get to ride high.
I was just gonna say you're riding high right now. Yeah, congratulations. So post-playing career, what has that path been like for you? What was your trajectory? How did you go from the NFL to your current role at Big Sisters?
Yep. I said one of the other themes for today was the word opportunity. And for me, opportunity comes from following your spark. And a spark is the things that excite you, that you find interest in. For me, my sparks were in visual communications, for lack of a better way of saying it, graphic design, drawing, and I majored in that in college and ended up in advertising. So I spent, quite a few years in the advertising world, helping businesses promote their brands, promote their products, promote their events, that kind of thing, right? But then you got to start and look at the other thing I said about purpose. Purpose is like, I saw an image the other day that purpose was like coffee. It awakens your spirit and it improves your day. So you need to fill your cup both. My purpose when I looked at what I was doing in advertising was, what is my purpose? What am I doing? What difference am I making? Whose lives am I impacting? My second spark was sports and athletics and working with young kids. I was coaching, coaching my kids as they were growing up. And I thought, man, if I could ever have a career, have a job where I could get paid and do this to impact lives, young lives, and use my platform for doing it, I would be in heaven. Well, that's where opportunity came in. And when I made the leap from for-profit work to nonprofit work, that's where I found my purpose. That's where my spark and my purpose came together. And I was able to start impacting young lives using the platform of athletics, using the platform of just mentoring in general, just sharing life skills. And that's where I am at today, working in the nonprofit world, impacting lives. And now with this this opportunity with You Want Game, I'm able to bring in athletics as well.
Good for you, man. I think that's what it's about, right? Combining the passions, if you have more than one for that matter, and
Absolutely.
trying to reach your personal but professional ethos, really. That's special thing. So
Yeah, thanks.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a nationally recognizable and respected organization. I mean, even this year we've been seeing the Big Brothers Big Sisters and NFL commercials. It's on, like every day, and it's an organization that has for quite some time now been very apparent to a lot of people. So how are you making an impact specifically in your role at the Twin Cities branch?
Yep. One of the big things right now, with everything that's gone on in 2020, it's a catchphrase or a hashtag of be the change, right? Be the change. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm able to use this opportunity in Big Brothers Big Sisters. We are known for one-to-one mentoring, those relationships that help kids find their way and help adults also see where they have a role in making that happen. At Big Brothers Big Sisters, I'm able to show. I have the opportunity to show that athletics is a team environment where you've got positive adults working with many kids, right? But the ratio is not one to one. There's, you got maybe a handful of coaches to a wide array of individuals, but they're still making a difference for each one of those kids. We're able to start exploring group mentoring and how we can use, again, this platform of sports and athletics to reach out to kids through and help them enhance their life skills, help them look at career and higher education opportunities, help them look at building their brand image. This is a fantastic time to be on the cutting edge of using a handful of positive adults to impact many, many, many kids. So that's the thing that I'm excited about in this work, and the reputation of Big Brothers Big Sisters paired in partnership with an organization like You Want Game. We're going to be able to do that, and we're excited about seeing where this goes.
And that's opportunity once again. It goes full circle, definitely. So you touched upon it a little bit there. My sources tell me that there is an exciting partnership to announce. Can you tell us more about the AMP initiative that Big Brothers Big Sisters and You Want Game have teamed up on?
Yeah, I'll share just a tad bit because we're still trying to tease it out, but I will just tell you that AMP is an acronym for the Athlete Mentor Program. And AMP it's a perfect acronym because it's time to get amped up. All right. You think about in sports when the guys come out onto the field in football and they all think about Ray Lewis, and what he would do to get his guys all amped up before the game. It's about remembering who you are, where you're going, why you're here. That's what we're going to bring to the table with these young people that we're going to work with through this program, through the AMP program. It's helping them individually remember who they are, the fact that we've come together, we got each other's back, and we're going to support each other, and then shine lights, have these positive adults shine lights because these adults have been there, done that. Former athletes that will be mentors to high school athletes, student athletes, and help shine a light on pathways to help them improve their life skills, show them opportunities, and help them live their best life. So with that, I'm going to just keep it under wraps, and I'll say stay tuned. It's coming out very soon.
More to come, and that was as an exciting of a teaser as you could give us. So appreciate that. I want to get into your work in Minnesota. Um, the Black Lives Matter movement gained global, unprecedented momentum in May and June. Really, that started, it took place in Minneapolis. How did the killing of George Floyd impact your work during this past summer?
Yep. If it did anything, it showed us the importance under the category of relationships of listening. There's one thing to sit there and talk to a young person who's may already be living a life full of trauma for a variety of reasons. But to have something like the killing of George Floyd happen for reasons that just no one could really fathom, other than the fact that it on the surface looked like it boiled down to the color of his skin, how he was treated. So to listen to these young people and have them vent and have them just be out of sorts, trying to understand, make heads or tails out of it, it taught us to listen. It taught us that we may not have all the answers, but just like our brothers on the professional levels, the NBA and the NFL, and our sisters in the WNBA, everybody said, you know what, it's time to start having not just conversations and talking, it's time to create action. So we're doing that with these young people. We're having them exercise their voice, not just to listen to them, but to give them a platform to share their voice and to do it with the folks like the police officers themselves. How do we have these conversations that are going to bring about change? When we talk about being a change, it comes from listening and then putting it into action. And when you do it from a trauma-informed place where you understand what it's doing to people, what it's doing to their lives, that's where the change can start to happen.
Powerful stuff. Me personally, with all that's been going on, I know I've leaned on some of my mentors, source of light and a source of comfort. So I applaud your work and the work of your community in that aspect.
Yeah, it's not easy stuff, man. But the more action we take, the closer we're going to get to finding resolution.
You mentioned the really inspirational work of the professional leagues and of the collegiate athletes as well. But we highlighted the NBA and the WNBA, their work as their seasons were going on when this was happening. How big of an impact do you think that actually makes? Seeing the athletes take these action steps, use their voices, use their mega platforms for good.
Yep. Let's use LeBron James as an example. He was told to shut up and dribble because in a lot of people's minds, he was just an athlete. He was just entertainment, and that's all he was paid to do. LeBron's telling us that, you know what, I'm a person, I'm a human being, and my life doesn't revolve around your entertainment. He's trying to be the change. He's trying to get the world in a position where they need to understand that nothing has ever been an easy road for people of color, especially. Everybody faces barriers, but when barriers are placed systemically in front of people, when barriers are put there to try and keep others down, that's not right. That ain't cool. And he has a right as another human being, an American in this country. He has a right to say this isn't going to fly anymore. So I applaud because people look up to athletes. You hear the term role model all the time, but no, he's not just a role model. He's another American living in this country who has used his spark, who has followed his purpose, to financial gain. But that's not just all who he is. He's also an American. He's part of this community. He came up in Akron. I went to school in Akron, and that's where LeBron is from. And he's given back to the community. He's built schools. He's financially donated. And now with this cause, he's saying it goes bigger than just sharing his money. He's using his platform and he's using his voice to be the change.
More than an athlete. That's how they dub it, especially over there with him and Maverick Carter's company at Uninterrupted, the Spring Hill company, those great folks. So with this being January, it's National Mentoring Month. I wanted to give you a chance to share some of your favorite stories or valuable lessons that you've learned from some of your mentors. What role have mentors played in your life?
Yep. The most obvious one is your parents. Your parents are inherent mentors. And one of the biggest things that my parents shared with me was to just be you and use your spark. Don't be afraid to hide your sparks. For me, I love the outdoors. My dad taught me to love the outdoors. I love fishing, bass fishing specifically, so, and I loved art, graphic design. So I chased down those passions. Were they popular? Were they the cool things? I don't know, but that's what they taught me, was to follow my sparks, follow my passion. In the world of athletics, I had coaches who, and specifically one, Bud Carson, the head coach for the Cleveland Browns. I came in, as a free agent, and I was on a camp. I was invited to camp. I'm from little known school, Akron University. It wasn't one of the big dogs. But what he told me was, everybody here in camp is lacing up their shoes the same as you. So if you want this, go get it. And as simple as that sounds, that made a big impact on me, because I'm looking around at these guys thinking, I didn't go to Auburn. I didn't go to, USC or one of the SEC schools. I'm from little Akron. He's like, if you're here, it's because somebody thinks you belong here. So act like it, go out and get it. So I appreciated a head coach taking time to just encourage me to be me and go get it just like anybody else. And now, in the role I'm playing, I am a mentor. Everybody has an opportunity to be a mentor, whether it's peer to peer, someone who's right there beside you at the same level, or intergenerational, me giving back to someone below me, or me actually having conversations with my OGs that are above me. Every one of us has a role to play as a mentor. So I'm using that to build relationships and to continue to impact lives the way that it was done for me.
A beautiful sentiment. You ended with relationships there. I want to talk a little bit about relationships. Mentorship, of course, is one type of relationship, but there's so many relationships. They call it, like the relationship game, especially in the business of sports, the world of sports. How have you seen relationships impact you and your work firsthand?
Yep. Relationships are, the one thing people need to understand is, relationships are a two-way street. If you're in one that's just one way, that's not a relationship, because you're losing out. Someone's losing out. Relationships are a two-way street, where when we talk about what athletics did for how it impacted me in life, it's learning how to listen, and it's learning how to speak, be heard, and then being wise in what you say and giving back. That is in a relationship. When you're listening to someone, where they want to go, what their dreams are, what their issues are, what's holding them back, where they might be lacking, where they're strong at, and then you're able to share back with them. That's a relationship. When they're asking that, they're asking for you to provide some guidance. Relationships are the foundation of everything, whether you're in sports or in life, just out living your life. Relationships are the key that can help you live your best life.
What are some things that you would like to share with current student athletes? You spoke about some of the lessons and the mantras that you've gained from your playing days, but if you could speak to a high school student athlete now, and I'm sure you do encounter many in your day-to-day work, what are some of the lessons that you share with them?
The last word that I said was going to be a theme today was opportunity. Opportunity exists sometimes when you just wait for it, and like a job opportunity that you see posted in a thing online, or opportunity is something you just create. You want it, you create it, you go get it. You build your own door rather than waiting for the door to be encountered. But opportunity also needs preparation. Again, I'm gonna go back to we've all heard it, preparation and perspiration, putting in the work, putting in the grind, and being ready for when opportunity knocks. Well, as a student athlete, your perspiration comes from what you're doing in school and getting good grades. It comes from building your brand by making sure that how you want to be perceived is actually demonstrated, putting in that work and actually getting out and doing the actions that support the image that you want to be perceived. So get your grades, be an asset in your community, get involved in your community. And then the last thing is just either go after opportunity or create opportunity. Don't wait, because it's there. If you want it, it's there.
All great advice, fantastic advice. What specifically are some ways that you think that high school athletes, or anyone, anyone in the youth can get involved in their community. I feel like that's something that people might do and they're not even realizing that they're doing it. But for the people that have that thirst or that desire to do more and to do it in a structured and concrete way, what are some opportunities that you think they should seek out?
Yep. Right now is one of the great examples. We talked about George Floyd, and it's a need, whether there's a call to action, from your city or from your community to say, hey, we're going to have a focus group. We want to hear from you. It's happened. So you have a right to use your voice and just share that. Share your voice with your city council members. Share your voice with your clergy. Share your voice with your parents. But where we come together in community, I go by the Zulu phrase of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. It's a spirit of community. If I am because we are, it takes an individual to come together with a group, and that's where you find strength. Amplify your voice and have it be heard. Even as a young person, you have that power. You are empowered to share your voice with not just your voice, but now your actions. Give back to your community. There are people in our community who need things. They just need. So look around your community. Where can you take your opportunity to give back and help fulfill some of those needs? You don't have to wait for an invitation because it's all around us. Use your voice and then put it in action. Those are two things you can do right now.
I'm sure, we appreciate you providing us with this good game on the podcast right here. And I'm sure you're doing that a lot in your day-to-day work as well. What's your ultimate goal, if you have one or if you have a few, for your program, Big Brothers Big Sisters?
The ultimate goal is to have a young person who's coming up through us come on staff. If I take over my job, that when you talk about being a good leader, good leaders are successful when the people they were leading bear fruit and they become the leaders themselves. That for me is the ultimate goal. I want to see a young person like yourself who aspires to impact others to actually make it, and to know that we played a role in that and helping that to help foster that. That is the goal. That is the definition of success. To see someone else take over my job and grow it. That would be the ultimate goal.
What do you think that growth looks like? When that next stage, that next evolution. You just so eloquently said, from a personal standpoint, what that goal would look like. But in what ways do you think that community organizers, not just Big Brothers and Big Sisters, but what ways can people of other nonprofits, organizations, You Want Game, what ways can we contribute to our programs and to build them up and make sure that we're instilling good in our members?
Yep. One thing that you're seeing demonstrated right now is Big Brothers Big Sisters bringing their reputation to the table. You Want Game bringing their strength and their reputation to the table, and we're not doing it in silos. We are saying together we are that much stronger. So to have other organizations say, let's do things in partnership, let's do things together, bring our strengths together, that's viral. That gives you power and impact. So that's where I see growth in this becoming exponential, becoming viral, and change can happen that much quicker when organizations say, we're not going to do it alone. Let's join forces. Let's do this together.
You may go far alone, but you can go further together.
There you go.
Absolutely. Rob, this was great. Thank you so much for your time today. I know you got some other stuff scheduled throughout the day, but you've been so generous with your answers, with your time, with your insight. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Is there anywhere that our viewers would be able to find you or contact you, whether that's social media or email or?
Yeah, I'll just say keep an eye out. You'll be able to see as we start to roll the program out. Keep an eye at youwantgame.org and at bbbstwincities.org. You'll see it on our websites. You'll start to see it through our social media, Facebook and Instagram. Just keep an eye out for it because this kind of momentum can't be stopped and it won't be stopped.
Love to hear it. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the AMP program. I'll be checking out your site, the You Want Game site. It'll be all over social media. Got to make it happen. One quote that I thought about throughout your time speaking. Our 44th president, I actually paraphrase his quote in my high school graduation speech: "We are the change that we seek." Um, and that's
Yes.
something I was thinking about a lot as you were speaking. So that's nice. That's nice that you reminded me of that. Keep doing the good work.
All right, appreciate it, bro. Thank you guys for the time today.
Absolutely. So, listeners, we would love to hear from you. Follow our movement and join the conversation at youongame.org or YouOnGame on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. Uh, Thank you all for your time. Until next time, for You on Game, I'm Sean Dorcelis. Take care and be well.